News. 24 hours. News,
I'm
Mississippi.
Courtney Carter, and this is the Weekly Rundown. So this week there was a ton that happened, and News Mississippi tried to walk you through all of it, and we're here now to remind you of some of those big stories this week. Now, obviously, we were still recovering from the tornado from January 21st from last weekend, and that recovery will continue for months to come. It could even take up to 6 months. Now, we actually had Chad Dixon. He was in Petal and Hattiesburg this week, and he brought you some updates of the damage. And what we have now is FEMA is on the ground, MEMA is on the ground, federal assistance is available, and we have all of the different resources you need for recovery on our website at newsms.fm. So check that out, and it'll help you put you in touch with the right people when it comes to finding what you need. And there's everything from getting your prescriptions filled a little ahead of time in case you have been displaced by the storm, unemployment, SNAP benefits, helping you start the rebuild process, even free cleanup. There's a ton of stuff there. And so if you're still struggling with that storm, you can find help there. And if you're wanting to help, we also have those resources online at newsms.fm. Now, a couple of other things that really had you talking this week. Amazon will start collecting sales tax in Mississippi. Now, some folks are completely against this, but after talking with the State Department of Revenue, this isn't something that Mississippi actually instigated. This came from Amazon. They are slowly growing a network of 35 states where they'll start collecting sales tax, and they're doing this a few at a time in order to avoid adding so many at one point. Now, here's what could happen with the sales tax that is generated from Amazon. It would go into the state's general fund. Your lawmakers would have the ability to dole out that money where it needs to go. Now, obviously, we've talked before about education woes, issues with infrastructure, and various other ways that this money could be used. And so it's really up to your lawmakers when this starts to come in. And how much money that could be actually ranges from about $10 million to $30 million a year. So let us know what you think. How should that money be spent? You can tell us on facebook.com/newsms.fm. Now, there have been a couple of other big stories this week that have had you talking. There was a House bill that proposed bringing back cursive writing and teaching cursive writing into schools. Now, in years past, you may remember bringing home your manuscript and having to practice your capital letters and your lowercase letters and practicing making that perfect swoop on your cursive letters. But kids don't have that nowadays. And the problem with that is that some of them are not able to actually read cursive writing. So you have historical documents that they can't read. They don't really have a signature. Even notes in class that a teacher may write on a whiteboard. Students can't read it. Now, there is one benefit to cursive writing. Students who suffer with dyslexia are actually able to perform a little bit better when cursive is used because they see the word as one unit and not as separate letters. So it helps them keep them from getting jumbled up. So that's another one of the top stories that you were talking about this week. Also, another one that we discussed, school choice. We talked about it from various different angles. You had, your options: homeschooling, private schooling, dyslexia therapy, different options. And you had those who supported it, and you had those who opposed it. For example, the Parents Campaign. They say that school choice is really just a distraction. It takes tax dollars away from the schools where it needs to be supporting students who have incredibly high standards on them, and they're working very hard to meet those standards. And so again, school choice. It would allow you to jump school district lines to go to the school of your choice. It would allow you to have scholarships to attend private school. It would really give you the power to make the decision what school fits the needs of your child best. So talk to us about how you feel about school choice. You can do that online, facebook.com/newsms.fm. And of course, we will be keeping up with you next week, and some of the top stories you'll have coming in next week. We'll follow the legislatures and see what bills are going to be going through, and we will keep you up to date on what you need to know. Now, of course, you're going to want to access this news. You can do so online at newsms.fm. You can also download the News Mississippi app. It's for Android or iOS. Just search News Mississippi in your app store. I'm Courtney Carter, and this is the Weekly Rundown.